Hi everyone, I'm Una Proudfoot, Executive Director of Alumni Affairs in the Office of Advancement at Acadia. And I'm joined here today with Derek Smith, class of 2005. And we're going to chat to you a little bit about homecoming this year and homecoming next year. Nice to have you, Derek.
Thank you, and I'm great to be here, across from the UK. Obviously, different circumstances than we would have imagined from planning for this year. We had a great list of activities, from a golf tournament, food and wine tastings, concert, and of course everything around football, including the celebration of Stephen Farrell's legacy, which we were meant to be retiring his jersey this year. So sadly that couldn't happen. We had a great crew on board, but looking forward to rolling that momentum into next year.
Absolutely, and Derek, I'm so pleased that you were able to visit so that we could have this conversation today. Of course, after your 2-week quarantine, and we're sitting apart from one another to be as safe as possible. So you mentioned Steve Farrell, and whenever you say that name, you know, it still gives me goosebumps and will for a very long time. He played a huge role in the Acadia community, and even in my life. He was a good friend of mine. I remember his bear hugs, right? You just could always rely on Steve for a bear hug. What about your relationship with Steve? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, Steve, he was a larger-than-life character, really made an outsized impact in the Acadia community, built relationships with all his teammates from early years, really taking an interest in those, helping them develop, feel welcome, and he was loved by all those that really knew him. We lost him, tragically, 5 years ago, just over 5 years ago, and a group of us, of course, we went out to Vancouver for the celebration of life, where his fiancée at the time, Megan, took the stage and shared the news with us that in fact she was 8 weeks pregnant with a baby girl, Penelope, who is now 5. And of course, just the shock of that initially, but it really, we reflected on that as a blessing, and the group of teammates, we came together very quickly, just naturally, to put a fund together, cover her daycare costs, as well as post-secondary education. We'd obviously love her to come to Acadia, and she will be here. Both of them, they had plans, as well as Stephen's broader family, to be here to celebrate him. So really looking forward to that opportunity for next year.
Yeah, so next year, Megan and Penelope plan to be here along with the broader community, and can't wait to introduce Penelope to Wolfville and Acadia and welcome back the other family members. So football in the bigger context of the conversation, obviously football plays a huge role in my life. I rarely miss a Saturday game, especially now that I have 2 sons, both of whom are Acadia football axemen. For you, Derek, as a past player and now a big supporter of our community in general, but the football community as well, tell me a little bit about your experience and your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so my view is football really does play an outsized role here on campus. They're involved with a host of volunteer activities and fundraising campaigns, not only here. And the reality is, Coach Cummings and his staff, they welcome young men into the program, some very young, and through their dedication, commitment, and passion for what they do, develop these young men into leaders in their communities as they move forward. And so it's a critical program for the school. And I've seen that as time goes on. So groups going back to Chancellor Galloway's era, the national championship teams with Don Clough and Keith Skippington and that crew. Mark Poirier and his cohort were here in his beautiful home in Wolfville. And into our generation as well. So really looking forward to having that broader group back, continuing to reconnect with the school and find ways to support the continued success of this program, which has done a phenomenal job and continues to do so.
Absolutely, and from the university perspective and the Office of Advancement perspective as well, I mean, you make our jobs easy when we have people like you in our community and this energy and passion that's continuing to grow, and we look forward to seeing it on campus next year at homecoming when we're able to do this in person. So thank you, Derek, very much for being with me here today. and look forward to seeing you next year.
Thank you, Anna.
We're gonna end off the segment and segue into the football game with Daniel McFadgen and going back to Wolfville, just to plant that seed for folks to get excited for next year, Homecoming 2021, and enjoy the rest of Homecoming 2020.